Level 1, complete last option. This is the level where players barely see the floor and aren't expected to do much when they do. Not because they lack talent entirely, but because their current status is so far down the bench that the popcorn guy has more job security. Bronny James fits that exactly. He's logging just over 11 minutes a night, scoring barely over 2 points, shooting under 30%, and has already spent time in the G League. That's not a knock on his future. It just means right now, he's a complete development project. He was drafted in the second round, has minimal NBA experience, and is still adjusting to pro ball after a quiet college run. Nothing about his role says rotation player. He's in the wait and develop group. James Wiseman somehow ended up in the same category, despite once being drafted second overall. It's hard to believe, but his NBA journey has been all over the place. Injuries derailed him early, and now he's bounced around teams, with the Pacers waiving him after just one game this season. One game, 20 minutes, then gone. That's a clear sign that teams are no longer viewing him as reliable depth, let alone someone they can build around. He's big, athletic, and was once loaded with promise. But right now, he's not producing and doesn't have a team. That's the definition of a last option. Sharif Cooper's story reads like a basketball travel blog. He's been overseas, lit up the G League, and now he's back in the NBA on a two-way deal with the Wizards. Those contracts are pretty much invitations to shuttle between the big leagues and the G League. He's got skill, his numbers in the G League were impressive, but his NBA resume is light. If you're splitting time between teams and haven't secured consistent minutes, that's where you land. Last option. Then there's Pacome Daddy-A, first round pick, yes, but only averaging under 1 point a game. He's 20, super raw, and clearly a long-term project. His minutes are low, his impact lower, and it's no surprise he's still bouncing between the Knicks and their G League affiliate. He's got size and potential, but at the moment, the team sees him as a long-term investment, not someone who's contributing right now. Hunter Tyson has had 2 seasons to show something, and through nearly 70 games, he's barely topped 6 minutes per outing. That's not a red flag, it's a foghorn. He's on a 4-year deal with guaranteed money, but he's buried so far on Denver's bench, he might need a flashlight. Despite a strong college career, his current NBA output is too quiet to count as part of the rotation. Lindy Waters III has made the rounds. Undrafted, worked his way through the G League, had stints with multiple NBA teams, and now he's in San Antonio. His stats this season, just under 3 points a game, don't change much. He even had a laser eye procedure recently, but not even new vision has pushed him into the rotation. The Spurs don't expect much from him on court. He's another one who's in that trusted veteran who doesn't play much lane. Jacob Toppin's name might be familiar, but his NBA stats sure aren't. Barely playing over 2 minutes per game for Atlanta, he's mostly a G League scorer. And while 24 points per game in the G League is nice, it means little if the big club isn't calling your number. He went undrafted, got signed, waived, signed again. Classic fringe player journey. Anthony Gill is a 33-year-old vet who plays like a team uncle. His output is basically 2 points, 1 rebound, and a solid locker room presence. He's been with the Wizards a while, and while they clearly like having him around, they don't actually put him in games. He's that experienced guy who knows the system, but isn't expected to contribute on court. Trey Jemison, the Knicks signed him to a 2-way deal, and his stats are almost non-existent. 0 points, 2 rebounds, no real involvement. He's bounced between teams and leagues, and even when he gets NBA minutes, they're short and quiet. Right now, he's a body on the roster, a developmental bet who isn't cracking the rotation. These guys aren't out of the league, but they're definitely on the outskirts looking in. That's what Level 1 is all about. By the way, if you guys want to subscribe, I'm going to be posting every day. Thanks. Anyways, Level 2, veteran presence. These are the guys who aren't here to fill up the stat sheet. They're here to steer the ship, or at least keep it from crashing into itself. Kevin Love is a perfect example. Now with the Jazz, he's averaging around 5 points and 4 rebounds a night. But the real reason he's still on a roster is his resume. 18 seasons, a championship ring, and enough locker room stories to start his own podcast. Utah brought him in to guide young players and anchor the locker room, not to lead in scoring. His minutes and usage are modest, and that's the point. He's here to mentor, not to carry the load. DeAndre Jordan's still hanging around, now with the Pelicans. His numbers are fine for a guy who plays in short bursts, about 5 rebounds and 4 points a game, but nobody thinks he's returning to all-star form. His 1-year deal makes it clear. He's there to offer veteran size off the bench and some knowledge to younger bigs. His insane field goal percentage is still hanging around, mostly because he only takes shots directly under the rim. He's basically an emergency rim protector and full-time wise uncle. Jeff Green somehow refuses to age. Now with the Rockets, he's putting up around 2 points per game and barely touches the glass. That's not a knock. At 39, he's not in Houston to chase scoring titles. His contract is small, but his influence is huge. Teammates and coaches see him as a voice of reason, someone who's been there, done that, and doesn't need to prove anything anymore. He's been with over 10 teams and has a championship to show for it. He's not padding stats, he's padding the maturity of the locker room. Kyle Lowry's still going too, now with the 76ers. At 39 years old, entering his 20th season, his role is more podcast panelist than point guard. He's even working media gigs while staying on the roster. His minutes are down, and his stats are minimal, but Lowry's leadership remains respected. The championship with the Raptors still gives him credibility, and the Sixers clearly value that experience. He's transitioned into a part player, part mentor hybrid who helps control tempo from the bench in the locker room. Bismack is doing his veteran routine with the Spurs. He's barely scoring and grabbing just over a rebound per game, but he's still considered valuable. Why? Because he knows how to teach young bigs what to do without needing a stat line to show for it. He's bounced around the league, always bringing energy and effort, and now brings those same traits in a smaller role. His one-year deal reflects that, temporary but useful. Garrett Temple's over in Toronto, adding a little bit of everything except actual playing time. He's averaging around 1 point per game, which makes it clear he's not in the game for production. He's in the game for guidance. He's 39, has played for a dozen teams, and continues to be the guy who knows all the plays, even when he's not in them. His contract is modest, but his value to a rebuilding team is all about leadership and example setting. Mason Plumlee is still lacing up for the Hornets, but just barely. His output is low, about 1 point and 2 rebounds per game, and his minutes are short. But Charlotte isn't asking him to dominate. They want him to help younger bigs find their footing. He's 35 now, been through a dozen systems, and brings an even-keel presence to a team full of volatility. Joe Ingles is on the Timberwolves, in a role so small you need binoculars to spot it. He's averaging nothing in points, barely on the floor, and is basically there as a backup mentor. At 38, his days of playmaking are mostly behind him, but his IQ and calm approach still matter. Teams love guys like Ingles because they don't panic, and they pass that on to younger players. Eric Gordon rounds out the group. He's back with the Sixers after wrist surgery and putting up a quiet 3 points a night. He's not going to lead the team, but he can still hit shots in a pinch and guide younger guards. His role is small but respected. A pro who knows what he's doing and still gives effort when called on. These guys are just there to make sure the young guys get the help they need. Level 3, role players. These are the guys who aren't stars and don't need to be. They show up, do their job, and check out without trying to take over the spotlight. Jordan Clarkson is a classic bench scorer. He's putting up over 10 points a game for the Knicks, hitting nearly half his shots, and gives the second unit some juice. That's his lane. He's not asked to run the offense or carry the team, just get buckets, which he still does at 33 years old. He plays reliable minutes and knows exactly why he's out there. Lonzo Ball's back on the court for the Cavaliers, and while he's not dominating, he's making plays. He's averaging around 5 points, 4 rebounds, and 5 assists per game. His shooting is rough, but his passing and defense still hold value. He's the kind of guy who keeps the offense moving and guards the perimeter without trying to lead in scoring. He's clearly not the franchise centerpiece, but he logs real minutes doing the stuff that keeps games from unraveling. Gary Payton II is still doing Gary Payton things. With the Warriors, he's averaging just under 3 points and 3 boards, but his role isn't about stats. He defends, he hustles, he guards multiple spots, and he does it with energy. His minutes may not be heavy, but they're consistent. When he's in, you know exactly what you're getting. No flash, just defensive grit and rotation discipline. Larry Nance Jr. is still around in Cleveland, playing the bench big role. He's putting up just under 4 points and 3 rebounds per game. And while those aren't exciting numbers, he still fills minutes and does his job. He's not a volume scorer, but his experience and versatility make him a steady part of the front court rotation. He's been in the league long enough to know how to contribute without doing too much. Clint Capella is now back in Houston, and even though his numbers have dropped, he still brings what you'd expect. Defense and rebounding. He's averaging about 3 points and 4 boards with limited minutes, but he's still a physical presence when on the floor. He's no longer a starter, but he fits the backup big mold perfectly. He protects the rim, cleans the glass, and doesn't try to do more than he needs to. Jonathan Isaac is still defending people in Orlando, His stats are low, around 3 points and 3 rebounds, but his minutes show he's not just a deep bench guy. He brings defense, length, and the kind of switchability that coaches love. Injuries have held him back, but when he plays, he has a clear defensive role. He's not going to take over a game, but he changes possessions with his presence. Dwight Powell remains a rotation big for Dallas. He's averaging 2 points and 2 boards, which won't impress anyone, but that's not why he's there. He brings physicality, sets screens, and gives effort every time he's on the floor. He's been with Dallas for years and fits into their front court as a utility big who can step in when needed and not mess things up. Precious is putting up nearly 7 points and 5 rebounds per game for Sacramento. That's solid production for a rotation forward. He brings athleticism, energy, and rebounding off the bench. He's not a shooter, but he finishes at the rim and stays active. He's clearly part of the nightly plan and fits the role player identity perfectly. Gives effort, makes plays, doesn't overextend. John Conchar plays for Memphis, and if you blink, you might miss him, but he's there doing the dirty work. Around 2 points, 3 rebounds, and an assist per game, playing about 12 minutes a night. He's not flashy, but he plays defense, moves the ball, and fills in where needed. He's a coach's favorite type. No complaints, no bad shots, just glue guy activity every time he checks in. These guys aren't carrying franchises, but they're not passengers either. They're the ones holding the structure together while everyone else takes the credit. Each one plays real minutes, does 1 or 2 things well, and understands their role without trying to be more than they are. That's what makes them level 3. They do the job, and they do it nightly. Level 4, starters. These guys don't run the offense, and nobody's printing their face on cereal box, but they absolutely start games and play real minutes for good reasons. Draymond Green still has his fingerprints all over what the Warriors do. He's averaging around 8 points, nearly 6 rebounds, and 6 assists per night. His field goal percentage isn't winning awards, but that's not why he's there. He's a defensive commander, a playmaking forward, and basically the connective tissue between the Warriors stars and everyone else. He doesn't need to score 20 to control a game, and he's still starting because of it. Isaiah Hartenstein is starting in Oklahoma City, and he's doing it loudly. He's putting up a clean double-double, over 12 points and almost 11 boards, while shooting nearly 68% from the field. That's absurd efficiency. Add in more than 3 assists per game, and it's clear why he's locked into that starting center role. He's not the go-to scorer, but he owns his lane, rebounding, finishing, setting screens, and finding cutters. He's not flashy, but the production is undeniable. Christian Brown in Denver has climbed into a full-time starter role, and his numbers back it up. He's giving the Nuggets over 11 points per game, grabbing about 4 rebounds, dishing out 3 assists, and hitting nearly half his shots. He's not there to lead the team, but he helps the stars breathe. He defends, plays with energy, and contributes across the board. Denver just gave him a massive extension, which is all the proof you need that he's viewed as a legit part of their starting core, not a placeholder. Lou Dort is still doing Dort things in Oklahoma City. His shooting isn't setting the world on fire, but he still gives the Ovi Thunder about 8 points, 4 boards, and serious defensive pressure every single night. He guards the other team's best player, and he doesn't complain about touches. He fits the mold perfectly. A guy who starts, gives consistent effort, and plays a specific role really well. He's not breaking defenses down off the dribble, but he's locking down wings and diving for loose balls. Mitchell Robinson is patrolling the paint for the Knicks again, and even though he's only scoring about 4 points per game, he's pulling down more than 8 rebounds and shooting an absurd 65%. That's his job. He's not stretching the floor or launching jumpers. He rebounds, protects the rim, and finishes lobs. That's all the Knicks need from him. He starts because he does those things better than anyone else on that roster. Herb Jones in New Orleans is the kind of player coaches dream about. He's putting up nearly 10 points, close to 4 rebounds, and more than 2 assists. He's not an offensive focal point, but he guards just about anyone and makes life easier for the scorers around him. He's a defensive specialist who can hit open shots and move the ball without trying to do too much. The Pelicans lean on him for stability and matchup versatility, and that's why he starts every night. Daniel Gafford is holding down the front court for Dallas. He's close to 10 points and over 6 rebounds a game while shooting nearly 63% from the field. He doesn't take tough shots, and that's exactly why he's effective. He knows his role: rim runner, lob catcher, screen setter. He does all the gritty things you want from a starting big without needing his name called in the offense. He's not a backup anymore, and his stats prove it. Chris Dunn is doing a quiet job in Los Angeles with the Clippers. He's giving them about 7 points, nearly 3 assists, and solid defense in his starting role. He's not going to carry the offense, but he can control tempo, make smart passes, and defend guards on the perimeter. He's earned the starting spot because he understands how to fit into a team full of scorers without forcing anything. He keeps things steady, and that makes him valuable. Jalen Wells is the youngest of the group, but he's making a serious impact as a starter for Memphis. He's putting up almost 10 points a game with some rebounds and assists mixed in. His shooting is inconsistent, but his effort is not. At just 22, he's getting real starter minutes, and he's responding with production. He's clearly not a star, but he's doing enough to keep his spot. He provides a mix of youth, athleticism, and growing offensive confidence. Every one of these players fits the starter mold. They play real minutes, they're trusted with assignments, and they contribute consistently. They're not the number 1 or 2 guys on their teams, but they don't need to be. They defend, rebound, move the ball, and stay within their role. That's what makes them level 4. Not flashy, but functional. The kind of starters who win games by doing everything the stars don't want to do. Level 5, Fringe All-Star. This group's all about the guys who are knocking on the All-Star door, but haven't exactly kicked it open and taken their shoes off. They flash big numbers and major upside, but whether they make the team totally depends on health, team success, or if the stars align and someone ahead of them gets hurt. Let's get into it. Amen Thompson's only in his 3rd year, but the numbers are starting to turn heads. 17 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists per night. That's not just filling the box score, that's scratching the surface of stardom. But he's not all the way there. He's still figuring out how to be consistent, still working out how much of the offense really flows through him. The field goal percentage is fine, 47%, but it's clear he's still in development mode. He's got the length, the motor, the flashes of brilliance, but no one's ready to pencil him in as a sure thing yet. LaMelo Ball looks like a lock on paper. 21 points, over 9 assists, and almost 7 rebounds. The guy is stuffing stat sheets like he's getting paid by the column. But here's the catch. He's shooting 39% from the floor, which puts a big dent in all that playmaking flash. The Hornets haven't exactly built a reputation for winning lately, and that inconsistency shows up in his performances too. It's not that he can't be an all-star, he already has been. It's just that he's not quite holding that title with a death grip. If he shoots better and Charlotte figures out how to stop being Charlotte, then sure, he's in. Until then, he stays fringe. De'Aaron Fox is an interesting one. The guy is putting up over 23 points and 6 assists, while hitting more than 51% of his shots. That's clean. He's fast, dynamic, and capable of taking over games, but for whatever reason, he's still not treated like a top 2 option on a legit playoff team. He's definitely in the All-Star conversation every year, but he's also usually just outside the circle. If San Antonio climbs up the standings and Fox stays this efficient, it might be a different story. But as of now, he's living in that almost but not quite zone. Zach LaVine's case feels familiar. He's done it before, 2-time All-Star, and he's still dropping 21 a night while shooting over 50%. That kind of scoring efficiency is nothing to brush off. But when you only add a few rebounds and barely over 2 assists, people start asking questions about impact beyond scoring. Is he just a bucket getter, or is he leading a team somewhere meaningful? The fact that he's 30 now doesn't help him in the long-term upside department. He's still got juice, but he needs the right team success to get another All-Star look. Then there's Josh Giddey, who's averaging nearly a triple-double, over 20 points, 10 rebounds, and just under 10 assists. That's massive. But before the celebration parade starts, there's context. He's 23, which means he's young and still evolving. His team success and role clarity are not exactly locked in, and his shooting is solid, but not elite. He's someone who could explode into full All-Star territory soon, but the key word is could. He's on the cusp. Whether he steps over the line depends on if the Bulls become a real team or just keep spinning their wheels. Franz Wagner is probably the cleanest example of this level. He's giving you 23 points a game with over 6 rebounds and 4 assists. His shooting percentage sits at 47, and he's clearly trending upward. Orlando locked him up with a big deal, and it shows. They believe in him, but while he's doing everything right individually, he's still not widely seen as a top 1 or 2 guy on a championship level team. His defense isn't dominant enough to tilt the scale either. He's right there, but until the Magic start making noise and Wagner starts bossing both ends, he's not moving up. Now DeMar is more of the been there, done that crowd. At 36, he's still posting nearly 18 points with solid efficiency. But his other stats, 3 rebounds and a little over 3 assists, don't scream top tier star anymore. His role has shifted too. He's not the go-to anymore, more like a reliable piece. That's why he lands here. He's got the name, the history, but not the current full package. If he makes the All-Star team, it's more because things broke right than because he forced the issue. Scottie Barnes is getting closer every year. 19 points, almost 8 rebounds, 5 assists, and over 50% from the field. That's a strong stat line. He's young, he's versatile, and he's probably one leap away from really entering the conversation. But he's not quite there yet. The Raptors aren't exactly storming the East, and Barnes still needs to polish a few parts of his game before he can claim a top spot. He's not just a role player, but he hasn't seized full star power either. Finally, Jamal Murray. He's almost always in this conversation because he puts up strong numbers, 23 points, almost 7 assists, and shoots it well. But his health history and the fact that he's usually the second option behind a major star like Nikola Jokic keeps him in the background. He's got the talent and the numbers, but unless he's lighting it up in the playoffs, he tends to float just outside the All-Star court. So yeah, this level's crowded. These guys have the numbers, the flashes, and in some cases the past accolades, but they're all riding that roller coaster of maybe the shots fall, maybe the team wins, maybe the stars ahead of them miss a few games. They're close, real close, but not all the way in. Level 6, franchise leaders. These are the guys who don't just show up to the arena. They are the arena. Every game plan, every scheme, every set play goes through them. First or second option, no debate. Their usage is sky high, their production is top tier, and their teams, built in their image. Wemby is already holding the Spurs' entire identity in his giant alien-shaped hands. At only 21 years old, he's putting up over 26 points, nearly 13 rebounds, and 4 assists a night. That's not just filling stat sheets, that's anchoring both ends of the floor. His presence affects every possession. He's the rim protector, shot creator, post threat, and fast break finisher, all wrapped in one 7'4" skyscraper. The team plays at his pace, at his angle, through his lens, and even with only 1.5 full seasons under his belt, it's obvious. He's the guy. Anthony Edwards is pure alpha in Minnesota, 26 points per game, plus over 4 rebounds and 3 assists. But that doesn't even tell the full story. He's the motor. The Timberwolves have hit that moment where everything revolves around him. He's the one getting the ball late, the one setting the tone early, and the one they're counting on to pull them through playoff pushes. He's not just putting up franchise leader numbers, he's moving like one, talking like one, carrying the swagger of someone who knows it's his show. Steph Curry's still doing this at 37. It's ridiculous. Nearly 29 points per game on 47% shooting. And yes, he's still launching threes from zip codes that require a toll. Even in year 17, he remains the sun in Golden State's orbit. The spacing, the motion, the identity, it all flows through him. The team hasn't stopped being his team, and while the roster around him has shifted, his production and impact haven't fallen off. He's not just a historic figure, he's a current engine, still setting fires across the league. Jalen Brunson was a sneaky one. Nobody outside New York saw this coming. But now, the guy's averaging almost 29 points, close to 7 assists, and the Knicks have completely handed him the keys. He's not just driving the car, he's choosing the route, controlling the music, and tuning the engine mid-trip. Every single possession starts with him, and he's delivering night after night. He might not have come in the league with a franchise leader label, but he's earned it with volume, consistency, and clutch control. Jason Tatum has been the Celtics' cornerstone for a while now. Nearly 27 points, almost 9 rebounds, 6 assists. And he's doing that while being a plus defender. It's hard to find holes in his game. He's the primary scorer, a go-to defender, and a late game closer. The Celtics don't have to debate who their guy is. It's Tatum. He fits every piece of the level 6 definition. Usage? Check. Team built around him? Absolutely. All NBA potential every season? Lock it in. Kevin Durant's situation in Houston might have looked strange at first glance, but his game hasn't dropped off. Almost 25 points per game, still scoring at nearly 50% from the field. And the offense bends around him like gravity. Even this late in his career, he's not just helping, he's dictating. The Rockets didn't bring him in to mentor, they brought him to lead. And he's still that guy. They space the floor for him, they run sets for him. And when they need a bucket, he's still option one. Tyrese Halliburton's injury this season doesn't erase the fact that Indiana was built entirely around his skill set. His nearly 10 assists per game last year showed how much the Pacers relied on him to orchestrate the offense. He dictated the tempo, set up teammates, and knocked down shots with efficiency. He may not be on the court this year, but make no mistake, the franchise sees him as the blueprint. His usage rate, assist percentage, and control of the game all scream franchise leader. Devin Booker, he's been that guy in Phoenix for years. Now he's putting up 27 points and over 7 assists while shooting at a high clip. You don't just fall into those numbers. They come from being the engine of the team. Booker's the first option, the closer, the stabilizer, and the one every defense schemes against. The Suns have made every major roster move with him in mind. It's not a debate. His production, consistency, and central role place him firmly in this tier. LeBron James is somehow still producing at a high level while drawing up offensive plays in his head mid-game. Sure, he's scoring less this season, but his 10 assists show how much the Lakers rely on him as a playmaker. The offense still runs through him, and his influence stretches way beyond the box score. He's setting up teammates, reading the defense 2 moves ahead, and directing traffic like a floor general with the cheat codes. The Lakers franchise isn't just influenced by LeBron, it's shaped by him. Even at 40, his impact defines the team's identity. Donovan Mitchell is playing like he's got something to prove every single night. Over 30 points per game, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, all on over 51% shooting. That's elite production, but it's not just volume, it's how he's doing it. Cleveland's entire offensive structure is designed around him. Whether it's pick and rolls, isolations, or off-ball screens, it all revolves around Mitchell's scoring gravity. He's the guy defenses key in on, and he's still torching them. His impact puts him among the top guards in the league, and there's zero doubt he's the Cavaliers' franchise centerpiece. This level's reserved for players who carry teams, not just with numbers, but with presence. They don't need hype. Their play does all the talking. Game in, game out. They lead. Sometimes it's with scoring, sometimes it's with passing, sometimes it's just by being the one everyone else looks to when things get tight. So whether it's a young star like Wemby, redefining what a big man can do, or a veteran like LeBron, continuing to run the offense like time's just a myth, these are the 10 who sit at the core of their teams. They are the foundation, the focus, the franchise. Level 7, best in the world. This is the top shelf, the penthouse, the exclusive club with no cover charge because nobody here waits in line. These are the 4 players right now who aren't just franchise leaders, they are the league's measuring stick. Every game they play tilts the floor. Every number they put up resets expectations. Nikola Jokic might be the most unique player basketball has ever seen. This season, he's averaging over 30 points, 13 rebounds, and 10 assists, while shooting more than 62% from the field. That's not good for a center. That's good for anyone who has ever picked up a basketball. He plays like a point guard in a power forward's body with center responsibility. He leads Denver in scoring, orchestrates their offense like a symphony conductor, and rebounds like the glass owes him money. There's no part of the game he doesn't touch, and no defender who can really figure him out. His efficiency is laughably elite. At this point, he's basically a one-man advanced stat. Shai's ascent from rising star to MVP is no longer a surprise. It's a fact. He's putting up more than 32 points per game while shooting over 54%. That kind of scoring volume with that kind of efficiency is outrageous. He's also tossing out more than 6 assists per game, leading the Thunder in every way imaginable. He's the focal point of their offense, and he's doing it with poise, patience, and total control. Shai doesn't force the game. He reads it, and then rearranges it to his liking. He's the reason Oklahoma City is where they are right now, and it's not even close. He's efficient, lethal, and calm under pressure. You're not stopping him. You're just trying to survive. Giannis might be the most physically overwhelming player in the league. 31 points, nearly 11 rebounds, and almost 7 assists a game. And he's shooting over 62% from the field. His role in Milwaukee hasn't changed in years, and that's because there's nothing to change. He's the first option, second option, and emergency option. He initiates offense, finishes plays, and guards 5 positions. The Bucks' success lives and dies with his presence, and that's been true for a long time now. But this year, his production is even more efficient. He's doing it with less wasted motion, cleaner finishes, and better decision making. He's a former MVP who's playing like he wants it back. Luka looks like a cheat code that accidentally got approved for league play. He's averaging over 34 points, nearly 9 rebounds, and nearly 9 assists. He does all of it while taking on one of the highest usage rates in the league. And even though he's shooting under 50%, it's because he's asked to do literally everything. He runs the offense, scores from everywhere, and plays at his own pace, which somehow slows the game down for everyone else too. The Lakers have built everything around him, and it's working. He controls tempo, makes defenders look silly, and throws passes most guards wouldn't even try. Luka's not just productive, he's generational. This level isn't just about stats. Though the numbers are obviously ridiculous, it's about control. These four don't just lead teams, they command them. Coaches base entire playbooks on their abilities. Teammates orbit around their gravity. Opponents game plan for them and still end up on highlight reels. Jokic is a walking triple-double with post footwork from a forgotten era and vision better than some actual point guards. Shea is slicing up defenses with surgical precision and taking over games without breaking rhythm. Giannis is a force of nature, smashing through lanes and sending shots back into last week. Luka is dribbling through time and bending space to his will while racking up another 40-piece. Every one of them is a top-tier scorer, every one of them is a top-tier playmaker, and every one of them carries an entire franchise on their back while making it look manageable. There are franchise players, and then there are these guys. These are the ones who make the rest of the league nervous. If you enjoyed this, I'm going to be posting a lot here. I would greatly appreciate it if you could subscribe. Thanks for watching.